please introduce yourself and tell us more about your background and your current role in STEM?
Okay, so my name is Obianuju Ivory Okeke. Ivory is my middle name, but just generally I switch between both anyways. I'm from Nigeria. Um, my current role in STEM is I just recently graduated from a master's degree in Business Information Systems and Analytics from the University of Arkansas at Little Rock. Um, it was a really interesting experience, great learning experience. Currently, I'm just looking to kind of like grow my career in software because that has always been my career goal, which is why I decided to do a master's degree in analytics. Um, yeah, so I think that's just a very high level overview of who I am. I'm the first of three girls, three children, anyways. um, I'm Igbo. That means I'm from the southeastern part of Nigeria, Anambra State to be precise. And I've been in the United States for a little over 2 years.
Mm.
So, fun fact, I should be more fluent in Igbo than I am, but I guess I'm. My cousins didn't take kindly to that, but I do my best. But yes, that's kind of like a very high level overview of myself.
That's nice. It's lovely to meet you again.
Thank you.
And what sparked your interest in, software and also in STEM, and how did you decide to pursue a career in this field?
Okay. I've actually always been a little scared of going into computer science and engineering, mostly because I thought I couldn't do it. So I was just kind of like, I graduated from an undergraduate degree in biochemistry. And while I was in between kind of like job searches, trying to find my feet in the industry, I stumbled upon HTML and CSS. And I figured, I was like, okay, this is fair. I think I can handle this. And that was how I got into front-end engineering. I'm very curious. I love to learn. So that helped me a lot in learning about the different fields and, how everything kind of works together to happen. So I guess I fell into my rabbit hole of learning and I started getting like opportunities and I was learning on the go. So I was mostly self-taught before I decided to do my master's degree. So it just became really interesting, the whole idea of building some things using code that people can actually use, which is a very different experience from my academic background, which is biochemistry, where there's a lot of reading and you have to go into the lab and it's kind of like constant research, which is continuous learning, which is not bad in itself, but I was just gravitating towards the, seeing what you build. So I guess that's kind of like what has kept me here. And I love to learn new things. So that has helped me on my journey. So I would say that's kind of like how I found myself here today.
Okay, that's nice.
Thank you.
So, between biochemistry and computer engineering, I'm just curious, which do you prefer?
Which do I prefer? Honestly, if you were to ask me anything about covalent bonds or reactions, I would respond. I still have a very good grasp of my background in that aspect. But I would say, in terms of the opportunities and the growth in the industry, especially where the world is going today, I would say I'm currently very comfortable in computer science. I don't know where tomorrow could lead because I am still very interested in health. But for this point in time, I am really interested in seeing where tech and computer science is going. So I think I would say the computer science.
Okay, all right.
Mhm.
And what are some of the goals that you desire to achieve in the nearest future as a woman in STEM?
As a woman in STEM,
Yeah.
um, I would say, I would say, growing, being better. I don't think anyone or myself should think that I have arrived, so to speak. I think that mindset kind of like stifles you eventually. So I never want to think that I have achieved my goal. So if I feel like I've achieved something, I would always aim higher. But at this point in time, I want to be a really good software engineer. Um, in terms of solving problems beyond the coding aspect. So I want to improve on myself as a problem solver. And I would like to, in the nearest future, take on more managerial roles in terms of working with teams and working with a group of people to actually achieve, a particular goal. And I think I would say that I would be very pleased if I can, get a few feedback saying, oh, Ivy really helped me, to achieve something I thought I couldn't, or Ivy really inspired me to do something I never thought I was capable of, because I think we all have these inadequacies, and half of it is actually thinking we can't when the only thing missing is the knowledge to do that thing. So I would say being a good manager, software engineering manager, is my most immediate goal. That's what I see myself doing.
Okay, great. And can you describe a mentor or a role model who has played a significant role in shaping your career, and also how did they inspire you?
Do I need to mention only one? Because I have a couple.
I mean, one or two is fine.
Okay, the two top people that come to mind are my supervisor. So I worked as a graduate research assistant at a department called Cosmos, which
Okay.
is a team of researchers. And what we do is we use social computing techniques to solve like real world problems, or try to solve real world problems. So Dr. Nitin Agrawal was my supervisor, and he opened up a lot of doors and opportunities. With Cosmos, I kind of fell into the deep end of code. So if I thought I didn't know anything before, when I started there, I knew nothing. And but the thing is, he kind of provided a lot of resources and doors and opportunities to learn, and he provided a lot of guardrails to help us actually, go along the way and, come up with solutions to some problems. So I'll say Dr. Nitin Agrawal has played a significant role in my journey. Another person I'd like to mention is Gerald Gordon, who was a software engineering manager that I worked under. I did an internship last year. So even though I learned code in academia and solving problems with Cosmos, I got to work in industry actually as a software engineer. And Gerald Gordon taught me a lot about um, what life is like beyond code, working with people to actually bring out products that are helpful. So it's not just about coding on your own, it's about collaborating with a team of people and making these solutions actually happen. So I get that really kind of like expanded my worldview and my mindset about what was capable. It wasn't about my gender, it wasn't about a particular programming language, it was just about going out there and solving problems. So I would say those are the two people that really affected my journey so far in software engineering and tech.
That is really nice. And going off what you said, could you share an experience where your STEM skills were instrumental in making a difference or solving a significant problem?
Okay. Um, there have been a couple of times where I felt I didn't know what I was doing. And when I came out on the other end, I was pleased to find out that I actually developed the solution. Um, but the most significant I can think of was in Cosmos. So we're working on a research paper to kind of monitor or identify biases in algorithms, recommendation algorithms. And the platform we're studying was YouTube. So we had to come up with a framework or a script to do this monitoring and do this analysis. And I worked with the team, but I was able to develop a code that could actually kind of track the behavior of videos and figure out how these videos were changing. And through this change, we're able to kind of identify a very high level pattern on the biases that do exist in YouTube's recommendation algorithm, and kind of monitor the differences and how these biases kind of evolve the more videos were recommended to you. Now I say this, thankfully we're out on the other side. Research is it's a black hole, it's like a forest, you kind of find your way through. But at the start it was very confusing. But when we eventually developed the code, when I wrote the code, when I wrote the script, I was able to develop a framework which is now being used to not just monitor YouTube's recommendation algorithm, but we hope to apply it to like Twitter and things like Reddit and Quora, So you just plug in your data and it will kind of spit out or output a visualization that helps you see trends over time or trends over recommendations and see how your data is evolving. So that problem, I'm very pleased and very proud of the solution that I was able to develop using social computing techniques. So I think that was the most recent milestone I can remember.
Wow, that is really nice. I'm sure that would be really, really helpful
I
to a
hope
lot of
so.
people.
We're building on the code, but yeah, that's what we have working right now.
Okay, great, that's nice. And as a woman in STEM, have you encountered any misconceptions or stereotypes? And how do you think that we can challenge and change them as well?
Misconceptions and stereotypes. Do you mean specific to a particular gender or the field in general?
Specific to like women in your field, for example. Mhm.
I think a misconception I would say is um, that women are not technical enough, to be able to handle like problems. And
Mhm.
I don't know where the misconception is stemming from, but um, I don't believe that, mostly because, we have the propensity or the ability to kind of multitask. And if
Mhm.
you're looking at a coding problem, that's basically what you're expected to do, to kind of like think about the problem holistically. So if anything, I think women are very quite equipped to be able to handle small problems all the way up to like complex infrastructural issues and problems. And I think a very good way to tackle that is to provide avenues for women to recognize and not just look at it like it's computer engineering. Like I said, I started from HTML and CSS. I didn't know I was going to go into software engineering. So instead of looking at it like this whole complex beast, right, it's just problem solving, right? If you're interested in solving problems, then this is the field for you. And if you love to learn, then you're definitely in the right place. So it's not technical for any specific gender. It's not a gender specific field. It's just a field, you know. Um,
Mhm.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do know that back in time in the past, there were a lot of women in the computer science industry. Um, a lot of innovations have been created by women. STEM is a field, it has no gender, and it's calling on to every and anyone looking to solve problems to get into that field. So I think the misconception is that computer science or computer engineering is a gender specific field. And once you kind of crush that notion, you put your head down and you go into the field as a person. I don't know if that really answers the question.
No, no, it was a really great answer. I really did
Okay.
learn a lot.
Okay.
It has been a pleasure having you. And
Thank
just before
you.
we round up the interview, what advice would you give to young women who are also considering studying or pursuing a career in STEM?
Um, I would say that you should go for it. You know, um, I know that there are a lot of challenges. Some things are fund related, some things are even skills related. But I would say you should go for it and dream as big as you can and work towards that dream. I never thought that I would have the opportunities that I have right now. If you had told Ivory of 5 years ago that I would be here, I would laugh in your face. I would tell you you're dreaming. you know,
Mhm.
but if you take that dream and kind of walk, if you have the big dream and you walk backwards, then you find yourself at where you should be starting or at the starting point that you have. So no dream is too big, but you should dream as big as you can and then try to walk backwards to get to where you want to be. And in my experience, you would always exceed your expectation, always, always.
Okay, this was wonderful. It's been lovely having you once
Thank
again.
you. And it was great speaking with you as well. Thank you so much.